Hi, Ankit. Thank you so much for joining me today. Super pumped for this conversation. Thank you for taking out the time for this.
Yeah, hi Usman. I was waiting for this conversation like for quite some time, and finally we are doing this. I'm really pumped up for the interview. I'm excited to answer any questions you have.
Sure thing. I've been following you for a while. Really fascinated with all of your work. Your storytelling is amazing. I think I just get hooked with every single post that you put out. And I've been interested in asking you a tons of questions. There are a lot of things to unpack. So I'll just get into it if it sounds good to you.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Awesome. So your work experience is really impressive. You've worked with some of the biggest SaaS companies on the planet um, as a freelance writer, right?
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
interested in learning about your background.
Hmm.
You're a computer science graduate. Not sure if a
Yeah.
lot of people know that. And your work experience on LinkedIn shows that you had no full-time roles in the past. What got you into writing, and how did you kickstart your career as a freelancer?
Yeah, like that's a very interesting question to start. So I'm a computer science graduate. I started my graduation in around 2015 and ended it in I think 2019. And like I never thought that like I would be a writer. But like when the graduation and those kind of things, when you're away from home, you need to pay for the rent and those kind of stuff. I was never interested like never interested in computer science, okay, but I had to get it because that was the only career option. Those are the cool career options, I would say, in India. Okay, so I had to get in there, and like I didn't know what to do, to be very honest. But like when I was like scrolling one day my Facebook, and I had the knack for writing. Like I used to write those short blurbs and those kind of stuff and upload it to Instagram, like what we used to do earlier, like many of us have or might have done this. So like when I was just in the early stages of my graduation, I used to write those blurbs, and when one day when I was just scrolling my Facebook feed, I saw an opportunity. Okay, like, hey, we want you to write research papers. Like, we can pay you a very good amount. I would say 900 rupees. That's around like nearly $10 or $15, I would say. Okay, for a research paper, 4,000 words research paper. And that got me hooked because if I did around even 10 of those or 20 of those research papers in a month, like I would like be able to easily pay for the rent and wouldn't need money from my mom and dad. So that was something. I immediately called the guy and we had a chat, and I was very good at writing research papers back when I was in high school as well. Okay, so this was something like this was my thing. Okay, so I went with the gig, and I was really good at it. Okay, like I used to write research papers for European students. So this was very interesting. But then like I thought that like, hey, I can make money with this. Okay, like why shouldn't I aim for more? Okay, so then I used to scroll Facebook, join the groups, the freelance groups. Okay, that's when I started hearing more of this stuff, that there are freelance writers and who outsource their work to like other people. Okay, there are many like people who really want to hire like low paying writers. And looking back at this today, like I think that I used to charge very very less. Okay, I used to charge $10 for a blog post. Okay, so I found a guy. He had a good I would say community back then, and he used to write blog posts for digital marketing agencies, and he started outsourcing to me. Okay, like to be honest, if I look back at what I delivered to that time, like it was full of crap. Okay, I used to write very bad, but with practice, like I didn't know anything about content marketing. I didn't know anything about content writing. I just knew how to write. Okay. I knew how to like research, and like this research included the top 10 articles in Google and mixing it all up and writing it in your own words. Okay. So this was something that I like did early in the during my graduation days. But as I got more experience, I created my Fiverr accounts. I created my Upwork account. So like I started getting my own gigs. I scaled up from $10 to $50 to $100, and I think that I ended uh, submitting proposals on Upwork just about 2 years ago, or maybe last year. I'm not really sure about that. But I
Right.
didn't really start building a presence on LinkedIn. I didn't know much about content marketing till 2019. Okay, like this was something that could get me like $2,000 or $2,500 a post. I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was a demand for this. Okay, I till then, like, I was very good at writing, but I didn't know what content marketing is. Okay, so I joined LinkedIn. I started learning about stuff. Followed all those amazing people that I followed today. And one thing that I was lucky, that like where I was lucky was that I followed the right people. Okay, many people make the mistake that they follow the wrong people, or maybe follow people that can't really give them valuable advice. That's the reason, you like something, these people aimed high, and that got me to the point that I should aim high too. So like I started learning about content marketing and connected with these awesome people, and I didn't build even a presence like till 2021, last year. Okay,
Right.
early as last year, I didn't even have a presence. Then I always aimed for building a presence, but never really got the time, and I had no interest, to be very honest, back then.
Hmm.
uh, but I got out of my comfort zone, and I think that I started working with these top brands. Like, we will cover that later as well, but I started
Yeah.
working with these top brands. I got bylines. I worked with Video Wise, where I got to learn a lot about content
Hmm.
marketing. Like, when you're a writer, you don't get to learn a lot related to backlinks or how to manage the entire content operation, how to build a content marketing team from scratch. You don't
Yeah.
get to learn, but at Video Wise, I got that opportunity. And that's the reason, like it was a major opportunity for me back then. And like that got me into content marketing. Even though I had the theoretical knowledge, I saw people talking about it, but that was when I implemented things. Okay,
Hmm. Right.
so yeah,
Right. Right.
I started working, like, after Video Wise, I submitted guest posts. Okay, at across different publications. I landed some really good guest posts, and I also, that was the reason I like landed some hyping clients as well: Zapier, Semrush, Hubspot. Okay, so we'll talk about that later, but this is how I got into content marketing, from writing research papers to
Yeah.
working under a guy who outsources his work, to building a presence on LinkedIn, and like
Yeah.
getting on with my content marketing career.
Awesome. Really fascinating, by the way, because you look at someone who's doing super fabulous work on LinkedIn, right? They're good at their craft. They're earning a lot of money, and they're like top of the game. And then you feel like maybe they had some sort of a fabulous and extraordinary kind of a start, only to learn, for example, everyone is starting scrappy, right? And then you just
Yes.
like learn along the way. You just
Yes.
get better opportunities as you get better yourself. And it looks like the same has been the story for you.
Yes.
What was the point when you realized that? Uh, Apart from these freelance websites like Fiverr or Upwork, there's a demand that you can capture directly with the clients, and you can build your presence and those kind of things. Was there a particular company that struck that idea in your mind, or did it just happen like out of the hat?
Uh, Very good question. Okay, like when I was on Upwork and Fiverr, like I have not told anyone this, but once my Fiverr account was blocked as well, like due to some reasons. Okay, that was a very panic mode. That's when I got to Upwork. And like I was very comfortable, okay, on Upwork. I was so much comfortable that like I thought, hey, this is the end. Like I have done with my career here. Like I can just submit proposals and chill, like chill walking at a beach and those kind of stuff. Like I used to earn like around, my highest paying client was $450 a blog post then. Okay, after Upwork commissions, it was like 20% commissions, you get the rest. Okay, so then I saw, like, back when I was on Upwork, when I got started on Upwork, each post had around, like, I would say 10 or 15 proposals. Okay. But by the time I wanted to leave Upwork, and the reason why I wanted to leave Upwork was, like, when I was just scrolling through the job postings, okay, the number of proposals I saw was very, like, very, very high, like 50 plus proposals. And that was the uh, like standard there. Okay, like every job posting had 50 plus proposals, and I saw, like, how the hell can I, like, really get a job if 50, how will my job application even be seen? Okay, how will my proposal will even be seen if there are 50 plus people I'm competing with? Okay, like when you vet those freelance writers, you are just like, I vetted like 200 freelance writers, 200 plus freelance writers for video wise. Okay, and seeing every proposal was not possible for me. Okay, so I can completely get it, like 50 plus proposals as well. Even if it's 50 plus proposals, uh, there are no chances, there are very less chances that you will be selected for the job. Okay, and there was no magic hack, unless like like people tell you that there's a magic hack to writing these proposals and stuff. There is none. Okay, you just need to get lucky, and your samples need to click. And like the major reason was, like, the competition was getting insane. Okay, so I didn't really want to be there anymore. And by the time I had started, like, interacting with people on LinkedIn, I didn't post much, but I saw posts from, like, people who have a very good presence today. Okay, I saw posts and I saw their success stories. Like, when you, like, back then LinkedIn was something like a platform that I thought that, like, people just brag stuff. Okay, and I used to get very jealous, like, these people are not on Upwork, these people are not on Fiverr. Okay, and they are still doing very good. I want to build a presence on LinkedIn, but I don't really know how. But one day I started publishing. I got out of my comfort zone. I started posting on LinkedIn. I wasn't consistent, but I still, like, if you scroll at the bottom of my feed, you will see a lot of very poorly written posts, because I didn't know how LinkedIn worked, or what LinkedIn, like, what is required to be successful on LinkedIn. Then it eventually clicked, and I got some opportunities. It was not like rags to riches stories. Like, I didn't see immediate growth. It took very much time, and but consistency and like upskilling yourself, those are the two most important things. But
Yeah.
LinkedIn is the one platform that I am very much grateful for.
Hmm. That makes sense. Um,
Yes.
Again, it's really fascinating. I think I totally agree with the notion that perhaps if you build a presence for yourself, right? If you actually build a personal brand,
Yes.
that can be a big differentiator. Otherwise, being on Upwork, of course, there are some factors that can give you an advantage on platforms like these. But still, you're just one of those 50 proposals, right? It's really hard to create a
Yes.
differentiator unless you invest in your own
Yes.
brand on these platforms, on these social platforms where people hang out.
Yes.
Totally agreed.
And they're
Yeah,
insanely high commission fees. 20% is a lot, man.
exactly. 20% is insane. Uh,
Yeah.
do you do you now feel like when you, for example, compare yourself with other folks, because typically speaking, I think the trajectory for any person who become a freelancer about 80-90% of the times is like they work at a company and then they work in another company, and overall their job
Yes.
tenure is like a couple of years, and then finally they say, I'm going to take a leave and I'm going to become a freelancer because I now have a network, right? You did quite the opposite, if I'm not wrong. um, was it the case that, for example, for some months it was hard at the beginning, you couldn't get a lot of
Yes.
clients at the start, or something like that,
Yes.
because of the absence of a strong network from the beginning? How was that experience at the start?
Yeah, it was very hard for me. Okay, I used to like writing. Okay, like I said, like the guy outsourced work to me, and it was a very rough start for me. But when I personally believe that if you're full time with a company, okay, you get to learn a lot. You don't just get to learn the writing part of things, but also the, because content marketing teams are like, I see product management teams, like development teams. I see sales teams they are very huge. Okay, but content marketing teams, you don't really get a lot of people to work with. Okay, these teams are very small unless you are working with enterprises like Hubspot, those kind of companies. Okay, usually the teams, like I see so many one man content marketing teams or one woman content marketing teams. Okay, so like when you work with a company, I personally believe that you get to learn a lot. Okay, because even if they hire you as a writer, they will obviously be assigning you stuff, the management side of things, the backlink stuff, and everything that is required to keep the content engine like growing. Okay, so I've seen so many people, like I can recollect a name like Erica. Okay, she recently left her job at Grizzle and she's doing very good. Okay, like she started her own course along with someone. And usually what people do is they work full time at a company and they learn a lot of things. And the thing is, when you are experienced with these kind of things, okay, you have that kind of subject matter experience. Okay, you know what clicks, what makes like good writing. What I personally believe is like you need to be a marketer. Okay, if you want to write in the B2B space, you need to be a marketer and a writer. Okay, you need to have the skills of a marketer, and like you need to be very good at writing. Okay, you, because you are selling people at the end of the day. Okay, that was not the case with me. Okay, I didn't have that kind of mentality. Okay, so it was a very rough start for me. I had to follow these folks, learn from them, which took me like, I'm on LinkedIn since 2019. Okay. So it took me like 2 years, okay, to learn from these people what content marketing is. I didn't ever take a course on content marketing, to be very honest. Whatever I have learned from LinkedIn and my experience afterwards at VideoWise. Okay. So it was a very rough start for me. I didn't know what the hell are these people saying. Okay. And like, does this even really happen? Like, are backlinks that important? Okay, like, can you, like, what's the problem with working with freelance writers? Okay, like freelance writers, I believe that they are very good at, like, the majority of them very good at top of
Yeah,
funnel blog posts. When you, like,
yeah,
why do you have to collaborate with SMEs, or why do you have to collaborate with customers for case studies and those kind of stuff? These are the things that I learned eventually. Okay, and I've learned quite a lot, okay, in the last few years. Okay, but when you are a full time with a company, okay, you get to learn these things. You have to learn these things to keep your job and to excel at your job. Okay, this was not the
hmm,
case with me. So it was more of a learning over the years and my experience at VideoWise, and that's what got me here.
hmm. So freelance content writing is getting very saturated, right? Not only because of other writers
Yes.
coming into the industry, but also because of the content production AI tools that we see, a big rise in. So now you've had the chance to work with pretty big SaaS companies, and it's your work that speaks for itself. If you were to do a
Yeah.
retrospective of your career progression so far, right, as a freelance writer, to figure out what you did right that helped you stand out as a writer, what would those things be?
Yeah. Back in the early stages of my career, I would not say career, back when I was just trying to get my rent, okay, paid. The one thing that I did was like, right, it was the consistency. Okay, I had times when I didn't like earn anything a month or stuff, when I didn't have any clients, but I kept the consistency. There was no pressure back then, okay, like to earn like some bucks or stuff, okay, that you need to get a job. It was more of a side by side thing when you like are studying. Okay, so there was like, I have to take that factor into consideration as well. But consistency is the one thing that has like kept me on track. Okay, afterwards I would say that, like, there's a thing that whenever you get rejected or whenever you get harsh comments, okay, like whenever a client says that, hey, we can't work with you, okay, like that is very, like, that feels very depressing. Okay, but I am very thankful for those moments. Like, I personally think that those are the moments that got me out of my comfort zone and like told me that, hey, I really, really need to upskill. Okay, I really need to improve my craft. Otherwise, it was just the same old way of writing for all those clients. And then once you get rejected, and again, you get back on track. But I really wanted to upskill because I thought that this is the only thing that I love and I can excel at. Okay,
Hmm.
so why, like how can I keep this thing going? The answer was upskilling myself. Okay, and like this was like in terms of writing that I told you, but in terms of
Yeah.
freelance, okay, like first of all, I would say be consistent with LinkedIn. I do like that is the one thing that I did right from last year onwards. There are very few times like I don't post, okay, on LinkedIn every day. Okay, like there are very few times, even if like I want to keep the algorithm, like I want to keep the algorithm thinking that hey, this guy is very active, and like, but at the same time, I don't really want to be that freelance writer who just says that hey, freelance writing is very awesome, it's very easy, you can get into that easily. Like I share my craft, I share my work, I share the things that I have learned, and I think that from what I have had heard from conversations, that has made me like that has made people think about me that I am an authentic person. Like on LinkedIn, I'm not sure how much like how what people think about that, but from what I have heard, like I share my work and I share my wins and losses as well. Second thing that I would say, like every people say that bylines don't matter and stuff, okay, but I didn't get any like high paying clients or really good like companies under my belt, okay, without bylines. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna see, okay, is the bylines when I'm hiring a freelance writer, okay, because I want to make sure. Like I remember I hired a writer like a year ago. uh I think they really had good like they shared the work in Google Docs and stuff, okay, and I thought that hey, this like person can do really good job. But when I saw the final product, no amount of research was put in. uh like even though it was a listicle, no amount of research was put in, like and then no creativity, okay, and any kind of stuff. So I was very disappointed. So I usually see bylines, and that's the reason I aimed for bylines as well, because I back then I knew I am good at this. Okay. How can I show people that I am good at this? Okay. By securing the bylines. I started with Triple Whale, and I like started then that it was Shogun. I read WordPress. I don't remember the companies, but I published many guest posts. I think this year itself. I think I started in February, and that has got me to the point where I'm working. Where like now people know, like I have a momentum right now. That's what I personally believe. That people know me. They know that I share my work. I have worked with these big companies, and they can consider my work trustworthy and consider me reliable. Okay, so they do want to work with me, and they do want to pay the high bucks. Okay, so bylines, I would say that was the one thing that I did right along with the other things I pointed out. But yeah, this was it.
Hmm.
And
That makes.
upskilling myself where if I didn't mention this.
Yeah, no, I think you talked about
Yeah,
that, and I totally agree with all of that stuff. By the way, I think whenever someone gets feedback, let it be, for their writing, for their
yeah,
SEO strategy, for anything else that they're into, there are only two ways to look at that, right? One is to say, maybe this person hates me, or they have some sort of a bias, or something like that, and just like throw all of that feedback into a trash can, or say maybe this
hmm,
person is right, right? If I'm working for them, if I'm working with them, and they've pointed out something that I'm not so good at, perhaps I can improve, and that's okay, right? Um, I remember, for example, in my personal career, the first internship interview that I had was like like it was totally messed up because I just like got some feedback, and these are some of the um, early stages of my
yeah,
career, and a lot of entitlement you can imagine, in a teenager, for example. So
yeah,
I didn't really care about the feedback that much for about 1 or 2 months, and then realized perhaps that person was right, and then
yes.
took the action on it, and then I think that was like game changing for my career. So you
Yes.
talked about upskilling yourself, right, as a writer. If you were to imagine you're advising a beginner writer right now, right? They have big ambitions. They also want to work with big companies, and they want to be a good writer. Of course, you can only get there if you are a good writer. Uh, what differentiators would you suggest them? Like, what do you think can help them create those differentiators to be a great writer rather than a good writer? So
Yeah.
just like imagine if you're talking to someone, they're much junior. In general, what are some of the things, skills, traits that you would say you should be really extremely good at? Otherwise, it's hard to create a differentiator.
Yes. Uh, like I am approaching this from the B2B writing perspective here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And I am approaching this like from the perspective that this guy, like this person knows how to write. Okay. Like they know how to write stuff. They know a bit of research and that kind of stuff. Okay. They
yeah,
are okay with their writing. But what I've learned over the years is like, I have recently like realized this as well. Okay. When I see people talking about it, and I think I posted it in one of my LinkedIn posts. Okay. First of all, if you are in B2B space, okay, good writing, I personally think that anyone can be a good writer. Okay. But what differentiates a good writer from a great writer is their ability to think. Okay. Like I told you, like this has been one of the biggest realizations recently, that like you need to be a good writer, but you need to be a good marketer as well. Okay. Like I didn't realize this like after like before I had starting working with video wise. Okay, because that's when I knew that hey, I up until now I was writing the blog posts. Okay, I was writing to provide information to people. Okay, but what am I doing to help the content marketing team at the company that I'm working with hit their goals? Okay, you need to be a good thinker in terms of like how to add workflows of the product that you are writing about, where you should perfectly implement CTAs. How can you write in such a manner? Okay, like when you work with writers, you think that they are just providing information. I used to do that as well. Okay, providing information is good thing, but you also need to think from the perspective whether you are writing top of funnel, middle of funnel, or bottom of the funnel, which is the main goal of the conversions. But when you're writing top of funnel and middle of funnel, you need to think from that perspective that hey, how can I make this look authentic in front of the reader, along with giving them the much needed actionable steps and advice that they think that hey, like how can I naturally blend in my product? Okay, how can I say that our product is the one stop solution for this problem that you are facing? And even though like I don't think that different posts have different intent. Okay, there are some posts that where readers are just for consuming information. There are some posts where like even if it's tofu, the intent is a bit higher. Okay, you need to like for the low intent kind of post, how can I make sure that I write it in such a perspective like maybe bring them further down the funnel. Okay, like I added a link that hey, you can check out our case study. One of our customers achieved this growth rate at this percentage. Okay, after implementing our product. Okay, even like it needs to be naturally blended in that it doesn't feel forced. Okay, now for the higher intent keywords, you can also showcase that hey, this is our product. Like you can check out the top X products that you're looking for naturally and add in the links. I think Recart is doing a very good job at this. If you know the company, it's an SMS marketing company. They are doing a really good job with the visuals and those kind of stuff. But I think like this is the one thing that has like changed my perspective of writing, because now I'm thinking from the reader's perspective as well, that how can I convert these readers, whether it's a sign up to a newsletter or whether it's booking a demo. It's very very hard to convert. Like buyers journeys are all over the place. Okay, you like they are not linear as people claim it to be, like from top, middle or bottom. These are not linear, they are just everywhere. Okay, so this is one thing. Now SME inputs, like subject matter inputs, like where like anyone can use AI and stuff. I think that AI is very like the content it churns out is very generic. And Bani Kaur, a fellow freelance writer, she once mentioned that AI, chat GPT specifically, is very good at manipulating. It's very good at stitching words such that you think that it's it's an expert, okay, but when you thoroughly read the content, you find the gaps. You see that, hey, this content is very generic, okay. So like now, where everyone is saying that, hey, we are a good writer, okay, everyone, like I'm seeing more and more writers getting these bylines in top publications, okay. I don't think that it was cool a year ago, but now it's getting way cooler, like to work with this top brands and stuff. People are realizing, writers are realizing, okay. So how do you differentiate yourself as a good writer, great write, like from a great good writer to great writer, like how do you differentiate? Is by sourcing subject matter inputs. Like recently I have realized that I am very good at writing marketing content but not sales content, okay. Like marketing is my niche, okay, martech, that's what we say here, okay. Like I personally believe that I suck at writing sales content. So you need to talk with these people, okay, the sales folks. Like how can I personally like write it in such a manner that my content doesn't sound generic? Because if you're talking to enterprises, okay, like sales leaders and those kind of people, they will see right through your BS. Okay, they will see that, hey, this content, like if you're producing a listicle top X sales tools, okay, uh, they will see right through it when you use the buzzwords about sales and not mention it how it can help them with their day-to-day operations, specifically how this particular tool, okay. Then there's, I personally think that if you are a junior writer, you can't really select a niche, okay. It's a lot of trying and testing, just like it's everything inside marketing, okay. So if you're a junior writer, try with a lot of niche, like I would say 5 to 6 niche. Just try, learn what's best for you, or maybe if you think that, hey, this particular niche is for me, I personally believe that just be consistent with it. You will learn a lot, because the one thing that I have done really right is be consistent, okay. I have stuck to marketing, okay, like forever. I have stuck to marketing and I have been like learning a lot of stuff. And after being a content marketer, I learned even more, okay. So there's a difference when I write for sales versus when I write for content marketing. I When I write about content marketing, I know the ins and outs, like not that ins and out when you are content leader or director of content, but I know about the topic that I'm covering, and I can give way more insights than if I were not into content marketing but was writing about content marketing. But now I specifically know, and I like, if you have ever read my WordTunes articles, they are mostly about content marketing, or Semrush's articles as well. They are mostly about content marketing, and you will find a lot of information that you won't find elsewhere, because that comes from my experience. So like being in a niche has its obvious benefits. So everyone says that select a niche, but it's not as easy as it seems. You need to try test, but selecting a niche is very beneficial, okay. So I highly recommend that. And in terms of writing, I would say, like, keep improving, keep practicing, okay. Just stick into it. Like I learn, like I said, that learn how can this particular piece, okay, be beneficial for the content marketing team, okay. Like, is it just for building brand awareness, or I can do more? Ask yourself, and ask yourself before delivering the post to client, okay, or
Yeah.
while writing the post, okay, am I proud of this post? Do I want to share it with my network? Okay, will they
Mhm.
love to read it? Because like when you're like sharing it with your network, if you are proud of your post, that's when you do it, okay. You don't do it just for it, just for the sake of doing it, okay, because it's your brand. Would I love to share this post with my brand? If yes, then I think that you have done a very good job. But like, I see not many people sharing their posts and everything, but it's their personal preferences. But I like to share it because I'm proud of the pieces that I write about. I personally believe some are not up to the mark, Okay, I recently realized that one of my pieces was like not up to the mark. I did share it, but back then I was proud of it. Okay, so at least I tried my best back then.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is something that these are a few tips, but other than that, there are many tips that I can
yeah, yeah.
give, but we can go on and on about that.
Yeah, no, this is really good. I think I've picked a couple of key points that you mentioned there and put them into different
Yes,
buckets in my mind. Perhaps the one
yes,
most important thing you mentioned at the start was think beyond just writing, right? That's like the main
hmm,
advice that we're giving to folks. Think like a marketer
yes,
rather than just saying, I'm just going to churn out some information in
yes,
textual words. Think if people are reading this piece, where can I lead them, what information I want to provide, and then um, what are, like, just thinking broadly as a marketer, what are some other content pieces they can either
yes,
download or view, case studies and those kind of things. I really just like thinking about all of this, I was reminded of this quote from Paul Graham, who's the president of, I think, Y Combinator, who, I think, on Twitter he was asked why some great content writers are so rare to find, and he mentioned it's because great writing is just great thinking, and great thinkers are hard to find, right?
yeah,
And it's really just, it just shows you that perhaps writing itself is not that hard, exactly as you mentioned, but crafting crafting a story and information in a way that you understand the people that you're talking to through your content, like the people who are going to
yes,
read the content, is perhaps an actual skill that requires critical thinking, logical thinking, creative
yes,
thinking. Yeah. Um, awesome. By the way, I'm just loving this conversation so far. I think I'm already myself learning so much about content itself.
yes,
So if you could talk about you being a content marketer, right? You're focused on search as a channel. You basically help create blog posts and you drive SEO traffic mainly, right? Now, in the B2B industry, we've been seeing a gradual rise in other channels for the past couple of years, right? Like people in general are talking more about other forms of content marketing rather than just blog posts for search. Although SEO is still tremendously massive channel, things like dark social and other owned mediums, like for example newsletters, um, and then other sorts of mediums, for example, where you can hold the traffic on your own rather than just relying
hmm,
then on a
yes.
platform. Do
Hmm.
you feel like moving into those channels as well when it comes to your content services anytime soon, or would you prefer to stay in the lane of search specifically?
It very much depends on how the search evolves. Okay, like, can I ask you something? Like,
Hmm.
whatever, like, recently we had the Verge article on SEO. Okay, I am not pointing to anyone here, but what were your thoughts on it?
Well, for me, I mean, I understand the sentiment that the author had with the article, and I don't really blame them.
Yes,
Like as an author, as a generalist, I would say perhaps she could have done better research, and because there are some folks who are doing really good work,
yes,
being an SEO strategist. But then, for example, if you search for any product, right? You say, I know I want to check the best laptops under $500 or something, then 80-90% of the articles ranking are like affiliate websites just talking about product in a way that they can rank the content, generate some traffic, and as a result some affiliate commissions, etc. And the content itself is not so helpful for the reader, right?
yes,
Again, like Google itself is trying to, with their helpful content updates, do a lot of stuff to just improve the overall quality of the content on the web. But still, we do see some SEO, practices that are, we know in our heart and soul that are not so good for the end user. But they still just perform because we've found a way to crack the algorithm in one form or another. Like I understand the sentiment of the author. At the same time, I feel like there is a lot of good stuff being done in the SEO industry, which
yes,
she didn't really point out.
yes. Okay, so whenever, like, I would like to get this in, like, into a, like, I would point some things out here. Okay, before like addressing your like actual question, like, I personally believe that there are a lot of things, okay, that I agree with. Okay, like I was on a call with a very good content marketer yesterday, and he also said this, that he agrees with a lot of things that the Verge article highlighted. Okay, like I personally believe that SEO has, in some aspects, like made search very good, versus in some aspects made search really terrible. Okay, but it's not just SEO's fault. Okay, it falls upon content marketers as well. We also have uh, like the same input, like we also have contributed, okay, to destroying this, okay, search. Okay, like whenever I'm searching for a product, or whenever I am searching for nearest restaurant, nearest Indian restaurant, or whenever I search for maybe a doctor, okay, these kind of searches, I personally believe that they are very, like SEOs have done a very good job at this. Okay, they are not trying to manipulate anyone. These are the Google features, and the SEOs are doing very good at these kind of. But when it comes to consuming information, okay, in the B2B industry, I am specifically talking about right now, B2B SaaS industry, uh, like most of the content here is very generic, and like the problem is what SEOs did. They, I never would have like I'll give you an example. Whenever I search for a product review, okay, G2 comes up. Okay, like I think that programmatic SEO, that was like the worst thing that has happened. Okay, you could have done it very good. Okay, but you didn't, right? So this was one of the worst things. But it's not just G2's fault. Okay, like it's content, like we content marketers have also the same contribution in destroying search. And the problem lies in, like I would say, whenever like the scale. Okay, whenever you are trying to publish content on a scale, okay, it just gets very bad, the quality gets very bad. You have to work with a lot of freelance writers, or you have to churn out a lot of content, even if you are in-house, that you can't put in the research. And you can't really like if I'm writing an article about top customer service tools, okay, like as a writer, what would you do? Like what would you personally do if you want to produce a very good piece, like top 10 customer service tools, what would you do? Can you answer?
Yeah, I mean, I would say just talk to a bunch of customer service folks and ask them what tools do they love, and then just do a critical analysis of all of those tools. Maybe just like talk to your users and then craft a list, and then finally put together a list that works, and then create an article. Like I would in fact be
Okay.
radical. I'm not again a content writer exactly, but I
Yeah.
would be of the opinion that you should just like maybe not even look at the SERPs to not develop a bias. Just like start with the consumer, interview them, ask them what tools they use, and just like craft an article on that.
Yeah, perfect. But what do writers actually do? Okay, especially if they are freelancers. Okay, they just go to the website's landing page. They see like what the features are and that kind of stuff. Okay, and it's not even their fault. Okay, the
Yeah,
companies who are assigning them these articles, I'm talking about freelance writers. They like, if these are high ticket items, okay, let's say $1,000, why would a freelance writer pay? Like the a very good approach would be to try these tools personally, okay, and write an honest review, just like affiliate websites do. Okay, some credible affiliate websites do. Okay, but freelance writers are not getting paid that much to write these kind of to write these kind of articles. They can't really invest in a tool. Okay, and they can search for reviews and they can talk to customers, but if you are getting paid like $400 or $500 for these fees, okay, why would you go out of your like if you want to build some credibility, that's good. But when, like if you're trying to do it on scale, if you're writing these kind of articles on a regular basis, won't really have the time. If you're working with a freelance writer, you have, I think, uh 14 to 15 articles to write in a month. Okay, so I personally believe that the moment when companies started to build content on scale, that's when search got destroyed. And the problem was we produced very low quality content, uh, and then SEOs, okay, tried all their shady tactics at big companies. SEOs tried their old shady tactics and implemented the backlinks and stuff to get those articles up. The problem was it's nobody's fault, to be very honest. Okay, so like it was the companies that were pouring in the money, and it was not even the CEOs or those kind of fault. Investor paid the money, they wanted some results. The pressure was on the content marketing teams, the pressure was on SEOs. So that's how search got like destroyed. Okay, so I don't think that it's anyone's fault, but I'm not even sure like what the future holds for search. Okay, because if like I am an insider, I am a content marketer, now I know personally that I can't rely on search for these kind of information. Okay, but I'm not sure like what other people like think about this, who are not content marketers, who are not in the marketing. Okay, do they still rely on search for these kind of information? Like the generic information is okay, but if you're searching for something that requires you to invest $1,000 or $2,000 a month, or maybe even more, 10,000, 15,000, would you rely on search to consume that information and book the call? Okay, so I'm really skeptical right now. Okay, I don't personally, I have no direction, and no, nor does anyone literally has that direction. But if search eventually gets like that crowded, and that fluff, like you get all the fluff kind of content, I would want to move away from it. Okay, I would want to pivot to, like, I think that LinkedIn specifically, if you're a B2B SaaS company, is a very good platform to market. But the LinkedIn doesn't have a search functionality. So if you want to search for a specific information or specific piece, I don't really think that there's a way that users can find information about that specific thing. Okay, so what I'm currently thinking is community marketing is something that like is really good. Okay, like when you
Hmm.
think about blog posts, okay, when you think about blog posts, you think search. Okay, that's what is on your top of mind. Okay, but what I'm thinking is like community marketing is a great way. Now I don't think personally that search will ever be not considered as a channel in the future anymore, because like I head over to like a website, I think live internet stats, 90,000 per second searches on Google. Okay, so this is very huge. Okay, so search is a very good channel, I personally think, but community marketing has a lot of scope. If you are building a community, okay, many brands are doing it right now. Okay, if you're building a community and sharing your pieces, your insights directly with the customers in a channel, Slack channel maybe, or any other where your community is hosted, okay, I think that that could be really really effective at maybe upselling or anything literally. Uh, but these kind of posts, but these posts need to be very good. Okay, these need to be very very insightful for them to be shared in private channels. Okay, like private Slack channels. Hey, this guy is like, this person knows what he's talking about.
Hmm.
This
Yeah.
company is something like, is a one that we can rely on. So I personally think that community marketing, like, I'm just touching the surface. Okay, community marketing is way more than just having your own community. Okay, so I think community, like, it's partnerships also with a lot of companies. Okay, I in e-commerce, I'm specifically seeing many companies partnering with each other to support each other, to like a big company like enterprise company is partnering with a medium sized company or small company. Like, these companies are growing under the shadow of that enterprise. Okay, so I think that
Right.
partnership
Right.
and like community marketing, these are very promising things in the near future. Like, I'm not skeptical even about podcast webinars anymore, because in marketing, what is once done, and if it becomes cool, everyone does it. Okay, and it eventually loses its credibility. So I'm not even really sure about like, but at the gist of, like, at the very core, okay, one thing that you need to realize is building very good quality content, okay, is the very basic thing that you need to do, very basic.
Yeah.
But you need to hire good people for these, whether it's
Hmm.
video content, blog posts. Okay, so if your content, like Tommy Walker, like he has worked with companies like Shopify, I need to like salute him for what he does. Okay, he works as a consultant uh, for many companies including LinkedIn. Okay, he's on a contract basis, but he has his own cutting room channel where he like hire, like where he has some guests and talks about content marketing. But this guy, why I need to salute him is like he has that YouTube channel, he has the podcast. Okay, but every single piece, like every single channel that he is on, he wants the content there to be the very best. Okay, the reason why we are in on this call and why I am loving this conversation, because you put in the research. Like I think that you have put in research for every guest that you have interviewed till now. Okay, but when you are having your own newsletter, okay, when you are publishing on your blog as well, okay, how do you make sure that you are not just repurposing stuff? Okay, how do you make sure that, hey, I'm getting this information on like a specific channel, but why should I have, like why should I tune in to that the same person's newsletter? Okay, if the same information, if there's the same information I'm gonna get. Okay, so like you need to have very good content for a particular person to like tune into both the channels or any channel that you are on. Okay, so that was Tommy does really good, like really good content. So this is something that is the very basic thing that you need to do.
Hmm. I agree. I think with almost everything that you've said, I think perhaps if we just grill down any channel, right, any
Yes,
marketing channel to its most fundamental, then good quality content at the foundation is common
yes,
and
yes,
overlaps across all of the channels. So let it be LinkedIn posts, or maybe newsletter, or maybe blog post. The quality of the content, how valuable it is for the reader, how it
yes,
engages them, how it hooks them, all of that stuff is like a common factor among all of the different channels. So perhaps that's the main thing, main ingredient any writer or content marketer of any sort needs to be focused on. So even if we move away from search at any point, it looks like if you're just focused on creating the best resource available to the reader, you will be fine, right?
yes,
Yeah. So thinking about, just search as a channel, again, creating for search currently, do you feel like when you create a piece of content, normally speaking, when content marketers are creating for search, they need to create a balance of, SEO best practices, optimizing for search engines versus users, right? Actual audience. How do you find that balance? Do you have a process? Do you have a checklist? Do you like make sure, for example, some of the on-page elements are fine, or do you not think about those best practices at all and just create good quality content, and then those pieces perform on their own, etc.? What is your thought process normally? Are you trying to balance the two elements, or are you more inclined towards one versus the other?
yeah. My focus is always on building the best quality content, like something way better than what's on the top 10. Okay, SEO checklist, I don't really have one, because I personally believe that like Google wants you to create the best content, and it has some SEO practices and stuff like that. It wants you to implement the on-page meta tags, meta title tags. Okay, so now like while I am writing content, okay, my thing, like I do heavy SERP analysis. Okay, like really heavy. Like I usually try to find out why a post with like apart from the top performing post, the top three posts or top four posts or top five. Okay, I try to find out like a post that has been published by a publication that has a low DR or DA. Okay, why is it ranking and outperforming the other high DR companies? Okay, so this is something that is on my top of my mind. And I use chat gpt as well for this idea. I learned this from someone. I use chat gpt for the ideation process as well. Like it has a plugin, web search plugin. Okay, you can just ask it. Okay, you can ask chat gpt that can you crawl the three posts or top four posts for these keywords, or even just provide chat gpt with the links, okay, for these posts. Okay, now I provide the instructions. Like when I'm building my own brief or outline, that's what I'm specifically talking about. Some things I look at is DR or DA. Okay, then the number of backlinks the post has, how old the post is. Okay, was it published recently or has it been updated since it was published? Okay, this is something that Google's freshness algorithm, this is something that I have learned about in the last year. Okay, I saw if you search blogging, okay, the term blogging, you will see a post by the Balance on blogging. Okay, a company called the Balance on second. The first is Pro Blogger, I think. It's a landing page, but and this post by the Balance was published in 2008. Okay, it's still ranking in the second position. I checked Ahrefs, okay, for the consistency in the search. Okay, and it's there ranking. You can see it from the page's source code. Okay, these are the kind of things that you need to look out. It has been updated quite frequently. Okay, this post, such things you need to think about this. Also think about why a low DR post is outperforming the high DR posts. Okay, you can use tools like Semrush or Ahrefs for these kind of things, or maybe Moz. I haven't used Moz, but I have heard good things about it. Okay, now other than that, see, okay, like some best practices I follow. Okay, like are I'm not sure if it's a best practice, SEO best practice or thing. Okay, but if you have seen like things like how to run an influencer marketing campaign. Okay, now you see the introduction and see what is influencer marketing. Okay, so we have to do it because Google wants us to do it for the featured snippet. Okay, like these are the kind of things that we can't like avoid. Okay, we have to put it in. Okay, I'm not really a fan of this, but we have to put it in for SEO purposes. Okay, while building an outline, I analyze the SERPs and think like, what are these posts? What does this post have? How deep is the information covered in this post? How many sections and subsections these posts have that I need to put it in my post? Okay, I use Chat GPT, I said, to build me an outline for this. Okay, give me an initial outline that, hey, analyze the strengths and weaknesses of these posts. Okay, provide the strengths and weaknesses, list down the strengths and weaknesses, and ask how can I perform better, and build me an outline based on it. Okay, it will give you an outline. It will give you a very good outline for the initial stages. You can modify it accordingly and based on your research. Apart from that, the best practices that I follow is for featured snippets. Okay, I think that for featured snippets, I have learned that formal and concise definitions are very effective. Okay, so what are influencer marketing? Don't use you or first person. Just provide them with the information. This is something that has helped me, genuinely helped me. Use numbered lists. Okay, if you want to be in the feature snippet, add FAQs, but I'm skeptical about FAQs after the announcement that FAQs won't matter. I'm not really sure about this as well. But these are the kind of things that I focus on, like from an SEO
Right.
perspective. But after this, I focus specifically on building the best piece out there. Okay, this is done like in different phases. Okay, like I recently published about like SME inputs, like what my process is. I think I didn't. I wrote a post about it for WordTune, and it is going to be published soon. Okay, what I
Hmm.
usually do is like after the post has been assigned to me, I publish a request on Help a B2B Writer or LinkedIn or Twitter, like X. Okay, but I'm not there anymore. X is very like I think at the bottom of my priority list where I publish. And I personally like what is effective for me has is communities, Slack communities. So if I'm writing about customer success, okay,
Yeah.
I tune into customer success communities. I join these communities. I reach out to these people specifically for their inputs. Hey, can you help me? You will get this in return, or etc. etc. Or I tap into my network of content marketers. I ask them, can you get me a customer success representative or leader to get on a call with me and share their insights? You will get a backlink. Do follow backlink from this publication, a high DR publication. Okay, like I usually structure my articles around like these SME inputs. Okay, I usually give them a deadline and ask them, hey, can you share this with me in the form of a quote, or maybe get on a call with me, or anything. Okay, whatever works. Okay, they usually give me quotes. But these days, right now, I'm writing articles specifically about content marketing. Okay, so the process has been quite different because I am the SME. Okay, but I still want to reach out to the leaders and directors. Okay, so that they can share something that I don't really know, so I do that as well. But if I'm not writing about content marketing or a topic that I don't really know about or don't have much experience in, okay, I structure my inputs around SME. I structure my article around SME inputs. Okay, like I did for my Zapier article, it was about Google Ads mistakes. I structured it like I wanted to make sure that it doesn't comprise much information from what's already on the serves. Okay, because I read top 10 Google Ads mistakes articles and they were full of like old information, outdated information. So I reached out to many amazing people, structured my article around it. The manager, editorial manager, loved it because I put in this kind of work. It was my first gig, so I had to put this kind of work. Okay, but for the
Right.
second gig as well, I did it. Okay,
Yeah.
so after you are done with these inputs, like some companies also provide you with the briefs. Okay, the outlines and stuff. Okay, there are companies that provide you with headers just, but also there are companies that provide you with very much information, very good information, they do the research and that kind of stuff. So if you are building an outline for yourself, okay, you can structure the article around it. But when you're provided with an outline, you need to make sure that you are finding a way to fit everything that you need to add to the structure, to the article provided, like to the outline provided by the content team, and fit it all inside. Can, like, if not, maybe add a different section. Okay,
Right.
and reach out to the people, tell them, hey, I interviewed these people, etc., etc., and can you, do I have the permission? Like, do you think that this section here looks good, or should we add another section here? Like, just be upfront about it. Okay. So, like, once the outline is done, I start my research. Also, like, I also reach out to some people to have conversations, okay, during the writing phase as well. Okay, because like not everyone gets the time to share their inputs by time. Okay, because I know that
Yeah.
even if I give them a deadline, they don't really have that kind of time. Okay, I try to get on a call while I'm writing as well. It's usually like 2 hours of calls every day. When I am writing
Wow.
specifically, yeah, like it's like, but at the same time you need to make sure that these companies that you are writing for are willing to give do follow links. Okay,
Hmm.
I try to like get on the calls, because not everyone is like available all the time, they can't provide it. But if it's a well reputed person, like if I want to write about SEO, and if you're up for the interview but you don't really have the time, and you only get the time to like give your inputs after, like while I'm writing. Okay, so I would love to get on a call with you. I would love to ask you some questions, because there are some things that you can only know while you are researching and writing the article.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Right.
so it helps you figure out a lot of things, but it also depends on the complexity of the article as well, how
Hmm.
complicated it is to you. Okay,
Right.
and
Right.
once it's done, I like make sure that like I was able to add I was not dumping the SME inputs. Everything flowed very well. Okay, and if I need anything from a specific someone, okay, I then reach out to that person that, hey, this is my draft, can you contribute please? I would very much love to, like, if it's someone who I look up to and who has that kind of experience, and like I ask them like, hey, can you review this draft as well? Like, do you think it's accurate? Can you pinpoint some things that I might be misleading? Okay,
Yeah.
not for every article, to be very honest. Okay, like
Yeah.
these kind of, you, if you are writing like 10 to 12 articles a month, okay, as a freelance writer, you can't put this much efforts into every article you write. Okay, specific articles, so I have like for which clients I have to put what kind of, depends on the money and the publication as well, to be very
Right.
honest. Okay, so this is my flow. Not, I haven't specifically talked about research. Okay, like usually research and SME inputs are dumped into an Excel sheet. I dump everything into it and I try to make sense of everything, after which I write the article. It was not the case like 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago. Okay, but I have refined the process. I have made sure that I have everything available while I'm writing.
Yeah,
Okay, at least 80% of what I want to write is available for me. I have fetched everything from the research reports and stuff. Okay, there are also tools that I use, but sometimes they are effective, sometimes they are not, like perplexity for stats. There are other kind of tools as well. Okay, you use a lot of them for getting like really good research, like
yeah,
Waldo and stuff. Okay,
yeah.
so
No,
this is just the surface of like my research process, a high level overview of how I research.
yeah, no, it's really fascinating. I think you mentioned it looks like your main focus is always on the SME side and just gathering more and more information about the subject to deeply understand it enough.
Yes,
And then another thing that I've just learned is how you categorize subject matter expert inputs into different buckets. Like, for example, there are, of course, inputs
yes,
that you can use to either like craft the first outline or maybe think about the way you want to structure the piece. And then there are inputs that you can add during writing the piece, right, while you're actually writing it. And then later on, maybe there are also ways you can ask experts to just review what you've already written and make any updates or suggest something, like as a fact checking thing, right? Really cool stuff.
yes.
You
Thank
I
you.
really want to talk about this one practice that you mentioned. Not exactly one specific practice, but something around conversion rate optimization that you talked about on LinkedIn. I think it was for
Mm-hmm.
Scribe, if I'm not wrong. So about a few weeks
Mm-hmm.
back, you shared some results for a couple of pieces you refreshed for Scribe. Within the post, you mentioned that the traffic grew
Yeah,
by 5%. However, the signups went up by 47%, right? I'm
7%.
wondering,
Yes.
if you were to rewrite a piece that is already generating a lot of traffic, but hardly driving any conversions, what would you assess? What would you examine if you want it to drive more conversions? If you want it to, just be be better from a conversion rate optimization standpoint?
Yeah. Coincidentally, I also wrote an 4,000 words guide recently, yesterday only. It's not ready 100%. Like
Hmm.
90% of is ready around content refreshes. Okay.
Nice.
I am really excited. I've shared with one or two writers, and they are very much like, they think it's very insightful. Okay.
Hmm.
I'll definitely share it with share it with everyone. But like some information I look for, okay, from a conversion perspective. Okay, like whenever I approach any article, okay, like getting back to what we were discussing earlier. Okay, you need to be a good marketer. Okay, like you don't need to force anything down your readers' throats and stuff, but you need to a good marketer. You need to have, like, apart from being a good writer, you need to be a good marketer to write from that perspective that you want to sell. And I'm not specifically talking about like putting CTAs anywhere, or adding too many workflows of your product or your solution. Okay, you don't necessarily need to do that, but like I'll say, like what the article was about, I think for Scribe, it was like, Scribe is in, for those who don't know, AI powered documentation platform. Okay, you can just start the recording, it will document the processes while you are performing clicks and everything, and it will automatically generate a scribe, that's what they like to call it, but it's a step by step instruction of what the processes were on. Okay, so it was a keyword that they were targeting, screenshot software for Mac. Okay, like I think personally believe that whenever you are covering a topic like that, okay, what's on your reader's mind? Okay, like what are your readers thinking about? What do they know exactly? Okay, I think that storytelling works, okay, but not every time. 99% of the time, no one is able to write a story that gets people engaged. Okay, so like I like to think what is on the reader's mind and what will make them convert, to be very honest. Okay, they are looking for a solution top, they are looking for maybe a free software and stuff for screenshots. Okay, but I think that if they are using a Mac, okay, like usually what people do is like whenever they write an introduction, okay, they provide very generic information and try to relate with the reader. Okay, that screenshots are very powerful, or there are many screenshot software options available, or like etc etc, those kind of stuff. But for this article, what I specifically thought was Mac has a default software like screenshot software, right? Okay, so they already know about this, but they are still looking for an option. They likely know about this. Okay, so I highlighted that Mac has a default screenshot software, but it's very limiting and stuff. You can't do advanced editing, you can't perform those kind of annotations that you like, etc. You can't collaborate with users in real time. And then I got down to the gist of it. Okay, like I gave them advanced things that they need to look for, advanced features that they need to look out for. But when I read like articles like around this, the top 10 articles, I saw that they were very basic information, they were providing very basic information. But the reader is doesn't want the basic information, he wants like very good information about the key features that they need. They are looking for maybe advanced video editing capabilities, advanced screenshot editing capabilities, maybe a video option as well. Okay, they are looking for collaboration with, because these are not just B2C. Okay, these are probably B2B as well. They are looking for the team, they need to collaborate. Okay, so these are the kind of things. And when you are writing a listicle, okay, some things that I have recently learned is, okay, you need to be like, you need to position, I think it's a good idea to position your tool at the top. Okay, but at the same time you don't need to degrade another tool. Now the benefit of writing for Scribe was they are an AI powered documentation platform. They are not exactly a screenshot software, okay, but they are an AI powered documentation platform. So whenever you write about different tools, let's say 10 tools, okay, give like consider what the best feature is or what the best use case is. And if you're writing Scribe, best for documentation, okay, then I don't remember the software like I mentioned in the tool, but second software best for advanced screenshot editing, a third software best for real-time collaboration, etc etc. Okay, now some things that have recently like really worked for me. Okay, high quality screenshots. Okay, screenshots are very important. Then you need to show rather than tell. Okay, this is something very popular in the marketing world. Show them, like you can like give them like your product immediately, like hey, this is the soft, like this is something that we built using Scribe. If you're interested in this, sign up right now. Okay, it's free to use. Okay, then what we like, people are pivoting more towards to first person perspectives right now. Okay, like with all our conversation about uh, search being destroyed and stuff, people want to trust genuine brands, authentic brands that tell them that hey, second product is not bullshit. Okay, we like this about the second software, but here's what we like about our platform as well. Okay, the second platform has some features better than ours, but our platform is better in this. Like, what is your specific use case and what do you want? Okay, based on that you can make a decision. So I have added a what we like section, pros and cons section. And I'm not really sure about this. Okay, I don't know if it's plagiarism or not. Okay, but what I usually do is add for every software, I add a review from G2 or Capterra if available, and just paste it there. Okay, here's what one of our customers on G2 had to say specifically about AI powered documentation thing. Okay, you can fetch specific, you can search something specific keywords and get that particular review about the main functionality that you want to talk about a specific software. So you can add the G2. I'm not really sure if it's plagiarism, but if it's I'll maybe try to add screenshots of those reviews, but I personally think that Google doesn't crawl screenshots. So I think it text based, it's very good. So it's not an SME input technically for this, but at least it's a customer review, okay, which is very good for the reader, that hey, they really want to purchase a software, and now they are getting an honest customer review. I also give a link, okay, that hey, you can check out other G2 reviews as well. So these are the kind of small things that you need to look out for. And one more important thing that I point again, I don't know how to put this in words. When I
Mm-hmm.
say think like a marketer, okay, like think in that perspective that you need to sell your platform, okay,
Right, right.
write accordingly, okay, don't write for just for the sake of giving information. All we think that providing information is cool. Yes, providing information is cool, but along with providing information, how do you sell? There needs to be a balance between providing information and selling your software, because the only things C-level executives or your content marketing leader is gonna care about is the quantitative metric, okay. They are not gonna care about, to be very honest, like I think that people will care about traffic, like managers and director of content, they may care about the traffic, okay, but C level, they want revenue metrics tied in, okay, they want to
Yes,
make sure
yes.
what are the signups, okay. Yes, so how are we giving them like what they want? And there needs to be a balance. When you think like a in terms of writing and thinking like a marketer, you don't need to push down anything, your software down your readers throats, okay. So there need to be a balance, and provide them with enough information that hey, you can make a decision right now, but also follow the best writing practices as well, right?
Right, right, right. So a lot of stuff there for sure. But you mentioned
Yes.
a couple of a couple of key insights
Hmm.
I've just noted in my mind. So for example, overall, I think it's more about just providing information about the solution, not trashing other competitors, being objective in your
Yes.
overall assessment and the information that you provide, trying to be
Yes.
non-biased, just like, for example, this one practice that you talked about, putting tools into different buckets. For example, this one
Yes.
tool is best for this use case, and this one tool is best for other use case, etc.
Yes, I would say be biased, but don't make it
Mm,
obvious,
okay, right, nice.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that distinction definitely helps.
Yes.
Awesome, amazing stuff. Uh, I would love to get on to, I think, what is perhaps the elephant in the room, right? The biggest topic
Yeah.
around AI tools and ChatGPT specifically. You've mentioned how you already use those tools. You mentioned, for
Yes.
example, you use ChatGPT for some ideation or for some pattern recognition among some of the pages already ranking in SERPs. Um, but overall, if you zoom out, right, if you think about this shift that is happening within the content industry, you already work with a lot of SaaS companies. You work with a lot of director of content, right? C-level people, perhaps the people in charge of leading the content operations. Do you feel anyhow threatened about? I wouldn't say threatened, but do you feel like the service that you're providing currently, in the way that you're providing it, is replaceable with these AI tools? Or are you like totally convinced that it's not going to happen, and you're totally fine? Like on your day to day, when you, for example, you're going to sleep, right, and you're thinking about what the future of content marketing is going to look like, are you going like, I need to create a big differentiator, I need to be really ahead of my game in order to compete with these AI tools that are, showing up now? Or do you think the differentiator is already there? These tools are just never going to catch up. What are your feelings about that?
Yeah, I'm scared. Like, I'll be very honest. Like, I am scared. I was very much scared back when ChatGPT was first launched, and like these kind of tools. Like, I think that, like, can these tools eventually write better than me in the near future? Okay, like, I was very much scared. But as I started seeing the gaps, like I said before, and think that the content is very generic, okay, like, it made me not so scared anymore in terms of my skills. Okay, like the writing part. What I'm scared about is destroying the search, okay, so much with these kind of content that people don't rely on it anymore for purchasing decisions, and eventually switching to other platforms for, like, they will obviously search for nearest restaurants for me, nearest plumber, or uh, product specific product review. Like, I'm not talking about the B2B SaaS product review, like camera review or best smartphones.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, but yeah, but like, do we make the search that bad? Like, do we destroy the search to a point that they stop making, like, purchasing decisions, or stop relying on B2B SaaS information? Okay, because I don't remember a publication, the publication that I saw this post from, but people are switching to Reddit. Okay, and they are
yes,
switching to like G2 and those kind of platforms, reviews and stuff. Like, they don't trust what is from B2B SaaS companies. Okay, but that's like not generic. Okay, I won't put it like in a broad manner. Like, different people have different opinions and stuff, and some things people would rely on us for, some things not so much. Like, I think that they will rely on us for information, but they will not rely on us for X best alternatives or those kind of stuff. Okay, I'm not really sure, but it makes me scared. Like, if these tools, like if companies, uh I still, like, I remember a client who is like, it was, I used to work with this client in 2019. I saw their blog recently, and all of the content starts with, in today's digital world, in today's competitive landscape, and those kind of stuff. I think that this is obviously Chat GPT. Like, I was really like scared. Like, what are these guys doing specifically? Are they trying to destroy their website? Do they not want to protect themselves from a future Google's update or stuff? But there are also ways to do it. Like, I personally think there are also ways to do it. Like, Google doesn't recognize that it's AI generated content. You can have an AI editor and that kind of stuff. So, like, I just want, the my only like fear, okay, is destroying search. Okay, and then people not relying on it and pivoting to other platforms. This will make marketing even harder. People won't ever stop relying on search. Google search is always going to be there, but what they use it specifically for, that may change. Okay, and that's my biggest like fear. And
yeah,
like, I personally think that writers who use AI in their workflow, okay, for inspiration, okay, they are more likely to go ahead in their careers than writers who don't. Okay, like, for example, you can use AI. If you're writing about something, use AI to generate a story idea, maybe. Okay, or generate an analogy, or just tell AI that, hey, I am stuck here. Okay, can I say? Like, get rid of the writer's block. Okay, or get rid of, like you have something that you want to put it in words. Okay, but you don't know exactly how to put it. Okay, so this is something that AI can help you with. Okay, not use AI 100%. Okay, use AI 10% in your workflow, or 15% in your workflow. I'm not talking about the research. Okay, research is a totally
yeah,
different thing, like we discussed
yeah, yeah.
earlier. Okay, this is in the writing perspective. Okay, so I think that writers who use AI have the potential to produce very good content if they use it right. Okay, they will go ahead in their careers as well. I see many writers who are doing it, but there's a like pattern I am observing as well. Okay, like, I am seeing so many writer, like, one pattern I observed. Okay, when you ask AI for a title suggestion, okay, so it gives you something like, from bricks to clicks, from X to Y, from Y to Z. Okay, this is the title it starts with. I'm seeing so many posts, okay, around this, and there are writers who say that we didn't use AI. Okay, but I see this title and I immediately think that, hey, this is an AI generated title. Okay, you can't be that creative, because, and I know the pattern. Okay, using AI is not like harmful. Okay, but using it in the wrong way is harmful. So I personally think that use it, but use it carefully, and don't rely on it 100%. Think of it as an assistant, rather than, don't use it for research, or don't reuse it for facts and stuff. Use it
Right.
as a, I would say, just like how you use Grammarly. okay, for suggestions or improvements in your app. You can also use AI. One writer who use AI, like he gives the prompts like, can you make this concise, like this 150 words or 200 words, can you make this into, like, can you turn this into 70 or 50 words without removing the important information, provided
Right,
with the
right.
information that you don't want to remove. So these are the
Yeah.
kind of things that, but my main fear, like I said before, is destroying search to the point that people don't use it for like purchase decisions.
I love that thought, by the way. I never thought about this in this manner. Like, for example, whenever I think about what kind of threats can these tools pose to different job roles and
Yes,
people offering services, the instant thing is maybe they're gonna get replaced, right? Like that's the human instinct that you can instantly get.
yes,
However, I think your thought is very deep, specifically and very practical at the same time, which is that, for example, if we just extrapolate the implementation of these AI tools in content, right? If we imagine that a lot of companies start doing that and they start relying on these tools, um, without any human intervention at any point, right? Like maybe at one point they just like use tools to do
yeah,
everything for them. Then how will that change the landscape of search as a whole, right? How will that change
yes,
the search behaviors of people? If I know that I'm searching for a laptop review and almost all 100 pages of Google, like all 10 pages of Google and 100 results are exactly the same because all those companies use the same exact, AI tools or something, then at one point I might
yes,
think of search as not a reliable channel anymore, right? Because the information is
yes,
just not authentic. I love that thought. Um, but again, it's very fascinating to see how it will change. And like, for example, at the same time, one can argue that maybe if all of the companies start doing this, perhaps the other people who are smart enough to not do, like, not use AI 100% in its implementation and be smart and creative in its use case, exactly as you mentioned, right? Those kind of folks might rise to the top because maybe they are creating a
yes,
differentiator, right? They're offering something unique in a world where AI is just like creating everything. I really love this quote, which is, I think applicable to almost all of the AI use cases, which is that perhaps
yes,
you're not going to be replaced by AI. You're going to be replaced by a person using AI, right? So if again,
yes,
exactly as you mentioned, if two writers are there, or maybe two strategists or two whatever, right? One is using these AI tools as assistants to just be more creative, to just get past their human limitations. Um, then
yes,
that's a smart way to look at it and use it, versus the other person who just like
yes,
never gets their hand onto these tools. um,
yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ankit. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I truly loved our conversation. I think this is one of the lengthiest podcast interview that I've had, and I've really enjoyed every single second of it. We went really deep in
Yeah,
some of the questions, and I totally loved the conversation. Where can people find you? Where can people get in touch with you?
yeah, they can get in touch with me on LinkedIn. I don't really use Twitter much, but I think, like, X, sorry.
Yeah,
But I am super active on LinkedIn, so if you want to find me, or you can just drop me a mail if required. You can share the mail ID or
yeah,
anything with, like, you can just request for my mail ID on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn, it would be the one channel that you can reach out to me on.
awesome. Give Ankit a follow. His content is totally worth following, and you'll definitely learn a lot if you're into content marketing and writing. Well, thank you so much again, Ankit, for taking out the time for this. And yeah, I'll
Thank you,
see you
Usman.
around.
Thank you, Usman. It was lovely interacting with you. Okay.